Nick here from Underground Surf in Auckland, New Zealand. We're just here to talk about some of the new Armstrong CF, which is the Craving Freeride range, just coming into the market in June 2022. So I'm just going to give you guys a quick brief layman's update. I'm sure Army's going to come out with a video in the next few days, and that will be full of nerd foil tech talk, but we're just going to keep it pretty light and simple. I've been really lucky. I've had the last 5 days to have these foils with my demo fleet. Been out on the jet ski, been out wake foiling, around doing that, and I've also been out winging and had a good opportunity now to test these over a variety of conditions with a bunch of different people, from first timers to experienced foilers. And I just wanted to give you my feedback. Overall, I was pretty blown away, and this is what I noticed. So one of the key things I noticed on riding these foils was enhanced stability. Now you're going to see a lot of marketing come out from Armstrong talking about enhanced stability and building confidence, and I would have to agree with them. From your first flights, or if you can rip waves, everybody likes to feel stable on a foil. Nobody wants to feel like they're not in control or too twitchy. A lot of people might have been there recently on various different foils, but stability builds confidence. With confidence, we all progress faster and we all go out there and have more fun. The biggest thing I noticed about these foils, which was actually mind-blowing when I first came across it, was I was just riding behind the jet ski wake. And usually when you cross the jet ski wake, the turbulence from the jet wash, you need to put a bit of front foot pressure, otherwise it sort of undulates and comes up. With these new CF foils, I was sitting, even on the bigger foils, the 1600, I was sitting there and I could just sit perfectly behind the jet ski and I felt nothing, like absolutely nothing, which was insane. You didn't get any flutter, so crossing the wake I didn't get any flutter, which was all good and well for the jet ski. But when I also took that to the surf and out being in waves, that also came into play. When you came off a wave and you were in aerated water, you rode it in a bit too long, had to get out through the white water and the whitewash. Again, that stability was incredible. So that was a really big plus for me. Definitely felt really good. Everybody hates falling in and having to restart. I'm one of them. And on the session I had with my wing, it was around shoulder high. I had this 1600 foil on here. I paired it with my 60 centimeter fuse and a 195 tail, no shim. I just had the best session out there. Often I ride the 1500 in that combo, but I just found this just a little bit more stable. And in that hour-long session, I must have only fallen in the water just a handful of times. And when I'm just learning to ride my new 60 litre board, 90 kgs, so when you fall in the water it can get a bit painful at 15 knots. So to be up on that foil and be pushing the limits on my ability and to not be falling in felt really good. So I would highly recommend these new foils for the stability. The second thing I'm just going to go into now is the speed range. I found them again, out winging, really fun. On chest high waves, I didn't feel like I was trying to outrun the wave, which can happen quite often on some of the faster foils out there. Sometimes you're going a bit too fast and you get down to the bottom of the wave and you've got to suck it up and try and work out where you are. I found myself in a really nice position, especially on sort of smaller, medium, sort of chest high waves out riding the swell. So that was really reassuring. Behind the ski, ripping around in the wake and playing around in there, I didn't have too much slack on the rope. You got to sit there in the pocket and just really just smash that wake, smash that lip and just carve instead of trying to really control your speed again sometimes, whether you're going too fast or too slow on the foil. So that was a big one. And then the stall speed was incredible on these foils. It just seemed to, just the thinness of it, the flatness of this foil, it just seemed to glide through your turns. So jives, tacks became very effortless. I didn't have to think about what was happening down below me. Could take it right the way through the turn and felt really confident through that. So definitely like that lower stall speed. Got me out of a lot of sticky situations, especially in the waves. I'm sure you've all had it. Your wing flips over, you're pulling in and off the cord, or you get down the wave and you just mistime something and you just need a second or half a second just to regain your composure, work out your next angle of departure, and it was very reassuring on that. Now I'm going to show you the difference between the different Armstrong foils and their HS counterpart. So first of all, this is the new 900. If I compare it to the 1050 here, you can see one of the key things you can see there is how much further this comes out from the front of the fuselage. Now this adds to pitch stability. So this pitch stability on the new 900 will really help when you come bottom out at the bottom of a wave. It's going to feel really in control, and I had that experience myself. So it just extends the waterline on it. So you can achieve the similar thing with chucking on a 70 fuse, but a lot of people will just run with a 60. So it's starting to give you that sort of option in there. So the big changes are, if you look at it here, see it's a lot fuller through the front, through the leading edge. The tips are much more turned down on the old 1050, which is great to give you a really strong bite and arc, but that can sometimes create too much catch for a lot of people. It's also the new 900 is a bit thinner. Now this story pretty much runs throughout the entire range. So if we run this here, the next one we're looking at is the 1250. So the new 1200 is in front there. The 1250 is obviously a bit wider and slightly bigger, but a little bit wider than this new 1200. So 1200's a little bit fuller, it's going to turn a little bit better, and it's definitely, when we demoed and played around with demo sessions, we switched from the 1200 to the 1250, and there was a significant notice when you came in on the jet ski into a carve. The 1200 just felt really sort of flowy and came and turned out of your turns a lot smoother. The 1250 gave a lot of power and bite, and again, relating things back to surfboards, kind of like the feeling you get if you surf a performance shortboard versus more of a twin fin fun board. Okay, so it just depends where you are. If you are at that performance shortboard end of the wing foil, you may still love this. Okay, but for a lot of people, they're ending up buying this sort of product, and they really should be still sticking around here. Next up, the 1550. The 1550 here, again, fair bit wider on there. It's 1550 is narrower through the tips. If you can see that, definitely narrower through the tips. It's significantly narrower through the tips, and it turns down a whole lot more. Now, a lot of people used to go, and I'm sure you've all seen it in the forums, cut your tips, cut your tips. Well, kind of looking at the new CF range. Okay, so a lot of people used to mention cut the tips, 1250s, 1550s, and they would hack, chop shop, cut tips off. Cool. That's a fun, flowy feeling that they've basically brought out with the CF range, in my opinion. From here, 1850 and the new 2100, sitting in the similar world. Now, this new 2050 foil. This 2050 foil is much thinner than the old 2400, which is up there. Much flatter, has really good lift, and significantly faster than the 2400. So for those who didn't want to go all the way to a 2400, but kind of needed a 2400 to start off. This new 2050 I think is going to be the one for you. So those heavier riders, 90 kgs plus and lighter winds, that's definitely where you want to go start. If you're not at the point in foiling to be able to pump it up to the foil, you definitely need to start in that area. And I kind of look at it as like taking off on you can either take off in a fighter jet or you take off on a 747. For those who are still taking off at the 747, they need all the wind. You're going to need that big, stable foil to just get you lifting up and gliding. Those who know how to pump the wing and the foil together, you're going to be fine on the 1600, even the 1200, because you know how to generate your own speed. So next up, I'm just going to look at the shape. So the shape on there, these foils are much thinner through the section than your standard, your earlier HS foils and definitely your older CF range. Makes them a lot faster. The other thing I really liked about these is actually the edges are softened down. They're not sharp on the edges like a lot of other foils are. And I've seen, I've done probably 100 lessons now, and I've seen a lot of accidents, and I've seen a lot of customers end up with extremely sharp foils, especially in some brands, and getting horrendous cuts on either ripping wings or cutting themselves. It doesn't need to be like that, and it shouldn't be like that when you're learning. Unless you have really good foil control and you are very, very confident on your foil, you do not need sharp tips. They are not going to help you in any way, shape or form. There's 0 point. Okay, so safety is key on here. Yeah, I've seen some horrific injuries and we do not want to go there. Cool. Foiling is about having fun. So to sum it up, having surfed and sold surfboards for a huge part of my life, I kind of relate a lot of things back to a surfboard. Bit weird on the foil world, but I would put the CF range much like a mid-length for me. Mid-lengths are extremely fun to surf. You catch waves easy. You have a big sweet spot in your turning. You don't have to be in exactly the right place to catch the wave. You can shoulder hop. In reality, you just catch more waves. You have more fun. You feel better about your surfing because you surf better on a mid-length than you do a performance surfboard for majority of people. And with that, you gain more confidence. You come in feeling good about yourself. You have a fantastic surf and you're excited and keen to get out there for another session. And that's how I felt after this riding these. I was absolutely like, oh man, I'm going foiling all day Sunday, and I did. So the froth is really important, and I see it time and time again. Saw people on the weekends trying to chop and change and jump into things that they're not really ready for yet in the foil world. Blows their confidence apart, and they sort of go, oh, I don't know if I can do this sport. I don't know if this is for me. Well, foiling is for everybody, but it's like surfing. It's like everything else. You need to give it time, and don't jump beyond your pay grade. You know, when you're learning to surf, you don't end up getting a performance shortboard when you really should be still on the mini mal. Okay, so you know, get what's fun, and Armstrong have really done a good job of nailing that and bringing this line back to where the majority of wing foilers and foilers are at in the world right now. Cool, so that's my little wrap up. All these wings are in stock now at our store, Underground Surf and Rewa. We've got them in demo, so we'd love you to come down and demo them. And that's it, spread the word. Armstrong CF range is here and it's better than ever. And this is not a paid commercial. I love these wings, absolutely froth on them, and have chosen to sell them and use them myself just because I love them. Cheers.